Camp Wildwood's head counselor, Amanda Rivers, took 3 kids on a nature hike and never came back. Their empty bunks were found that evening, but no trace of the counselor or children. For 40 years, the case remained Colorado's most baffling disappearance. Until 2024, when wildfire damage exposed a hidden cave system containing evidence that would reveal Amanda Rivers wasn't protecting those children. She was running from something far worse than anyone imagined. July 15th, 1984, Monday afternoon. Camp Wildwood was a prestigious summer camp located in Colorado's Rocky Mountains region. 2 hours from Denver, at 4,000 feet elevation, nestled among pine forests and mountain lakes, the camp hosted 150 children every summer. Families registered months in advance and paid high fees to send their children here. Camp Wildwood promised a safe, educational, unforgettable summer experience. Amanda Rivers was 26 years old, the most beloved counselor in camp history. A graduate of the University of Colorado with a degree in education, certified in child psychology, she had been working at Camp Wildwood for 5 years. With her long red hair, green eyes, and warm smile, she was like a superhero in the children's eyes. Families specifically requested that their children be in Amanda's group, but behind her perfect facade lay a deeply disturbed mind that no one suspected. Amanda's childhood had been marked by severe trauma. Her mother died when she was 7. Her father became an alcoholic who abandoned the family. She was raised by her grandmother until age 12, then entered foster care. Multiple homes, instability, and emotional neglect shaped her psychological development. Despite academic success, Amanda struggled with attachment disorders and reality dissociation that would later manifest in horrifying ways. That day, Amanda had planned an afternoon nature hike with 3 8-year-old children. Tommy Chen was a quiet, book-loving child from San Francisco. His family was Chinese immigrant, father doctor. James Chen, a software engineer at Apple Computer, mother doctor. Lisa Wong, a pediatrician at UCSF Medical Center. Tommy was exceptionally intelligent in mathematics and science, but remained shy in social activities. He loved astronomy books and dreamed of becoming a space scientist. Sarah Martinez came from Phoenix, a lively, talkative, energetic girl who wanted to participate in every activity. Her family was Hispanic. Father Carlos Martinez, a construction foreman for a Phoenix development company. Mother Maria Santos, a 3rd-grade teacher at Roosevelt Elementary. Sarah was naturally gifted in arts and communication, always organizing camp activities and helping other children. Billy Foster came from Denver, an athletic, brave child who loved outdoor activities. His father, Michael Foster, was a successful attorney at Foster and Associates law firm. Mother Janet Sterling was a luxury real estate agent. Billy excelled in sports, was naturally brave, and often took leadership roles in camp activities. He dreamed of becoming a professional athlete or outdoor adventure guide. Amanda had specifically chosen these 3 children because they had begun to get bored with camp routine and wanted more challenging activities. But there was another sinister reason. They were somewhat isolated from larger friend groups, making them perfect targets for her disturbing plan. "I'm going to show you a special place," she had told them during lunch. "There's a secret waterfall that other kids don't know about. I only take the bravest explorers there." The children were excited and felt special, completely trusting their beloved counselor. After lunch, Amanda carefully prepared her backpack with calculated precision. Inside were a first aid kit, walkie-talkie, water bottles, trail mix, rope, multiple flashlights, and a camping knife, though the children didn't see the last 2 items. The children also took their small backpacks containing snacks and water bottles. Amanda reported her trail plan to Camp Director Richard Stone. "We'll start from Pine Ridge Trail, go to Hidden Falls, be back by 5 p.m., she said with practiced confidence. Stone gave approval. It was routine procedure. At 2:30 p.m., the group set off from the camp exit. Amanda in front, children behind her in a single line, chattering excitedly about their special adventure. It was a sunny, warm day with temperature around 75 degrees, perfect hiking weather. The trail was well marked and considered safe for experienced hikers. Other counselors were conducting different activities with their groups: swimming, arts and crafts, sports. At 3 p.m., Amanda performed her scheduled radio check. Base, this is Amanda. We're on Pine Ridge Trail. Everything's normal. Kids are doing great. Camp radio operator Jenny Walsh responded professionally. Received Amanda. We'll expect your check-in at 5 p.m. Have a great hike. This was the last communication received from Amanda. Jenny made a note in the logbook. Amanda Group, Pine Ridge Trail, all normal, 3 p.m. At 3:15 p.m., the group reached a critical decision point. Amanda told the children, "The real adventure starts now, brave explorers." They left the marked trail and entered dense forest. Tommy Chen was naturally cautious and asked, "Shouldn't we stay on the trail?" Camp rules say we're not supposed to leave marked paths. Amanda laughed reassuringly. "Don't worry, Tommy. I'm an expert guide. I know this route better than anyone. I'm going to show you something absolutely wonderful. There really was no place called Hidden Falls anywhere in the area." Amanda was purposely leading the children deeper into dense forest, following a route she had scouted multiple times over the past 2 years. Sarah Martinez was bouncing with excitement. "I can't wait to see the secret waterfall. Will we be able to swim in it?" Billy Foster asked, "How far is it, Amanda?" "We can walk faster if you want." Amanda worked to keep them calm and trusting. "We won't rush, kids. Part of nature exploration is taking our time." At 4 p.m., the group was deep in the dense pine forest, far from any established trail. There was no clear path anymore, and Amanda was navigating using a compass and landmarks she had memorized. The children were beginning to get nervous as the forest grew darker and more unfamiliar. "Tommy, are we going to get lost out here?" Sarah, "Amanda, isn't it time to go back?" Billy, "This place looks really creepy." Amanda was trying to reassure them, but experienced hikers could have detected growing tension in her voice. Her responses were becoming forced, less natural. "Trust me, kids. I've been doing this for years. We're almost there. Just a little further, and you'll see something magical." At 4:30 p.m., a sudden clearing appeared in the dense forest, and Amanda led them directly to where a natural cave entrance became visible, partially hidden by fallen logs and vegetation. Amanda stopped and took a deep breath. "Here we are," she said with forced enthusiasm. "Our special secret place." But when the children saw the dark cave opening, they immediately became scared and resistant. Tommy Chen asked the obvious question, "Amanda, where's the waterfall?" "This is just a dark cave." Amanda's demeanor changed noticeably. She became nervous, hurried. "Plans changed, kids. We're going to explore this amazing cave instead. It'll be much more exciting than any waterfall." But the children were increasingly frightened. Sarah, "I don't like caves, Amanda. Can't we go back to camp?" Billy, "My parents told me never to go into caves." Amanda insisted with growing intensity, almost becoming forceful. "Trust me completely, kids. There are amazing things inside that you'll remember forever. Just a quick look, then we'll head back." She took out a powerful flashlight and stepped toward the cave entrance. The children reluctantly followed, their trust in Amanda overriding their natural fear. None realized this decision would forever change their lives. The cave system was extensive, a natural limestone formation developed over thousands of years. Amanda navigated with surprising confidence, obviously having explored it thoroughly before. The children were scared, but maintained trust in Amanda. As they went deeper, daylight faded, and Amanda's flashlight became their only illumination. At 5 p.m., Camp Base was expecting Amanda's scheduled check-in. The radio remained ominously silent. At 5:15 p.m., Jenny Walsh attempted contact. "Amanda, this is Base. Please respond. Nothing but static." At 5:30 p.m., Camp Director Richard Stone became genuinely concerned. Amanda had never missed a check-in in 5 years. At 5:45 p.m., Stone initiated emergency protocol. All available counselors were mobilized, search teams organized, emergency contacts notified. Initial assumption was the group had become lost, someone was injured, or radio equipment malfunctioned. It was standard emergency procedure. At 6:30 p.m., the first search team completely covered Pine Ridge Trail. They traced Amanda's intended route, but found no sign of the group. They couldn't identify where they had left the trail. Amanda and the 3 children had simply vanished without any discoverable trace. At sunset, Camp Wildwood went into full panic mode. All activities were canceled, remaining children secured, parents contacted via emergency phone tree, local authorities notified. Colorado State Patrol, Boulder County Sheriff's Office, and Rocky Mountain Rescue were mobilized. Media attention was immediate. 4 missing at Colorado summer camp headlines broke on local news. The first night launched a massive search operation involving hundreds of participants. Professional search and rescue teams, experienced volunteers, K-9 units with tracking dogs, helicopter support with thermal imaging. Scent dogs attempted to track Amanda and the children, but the trail went cold in dense forest. The challenging terrain made tracking extremely difficult. Tommy Chen's parents, Dr. James Chen and Dr. Lisa Wong, immediately flew from San Francisco. They were devastated, having sent their only child to what they believed was the safest camp in the region. Sarah Martinez's family, Carlos Martinez and Maria Santos, drove through the night from Phoenix. For their working-class family, Camp Wildwood represented a major financial sacrifice made specifically for their daughter's opportunities. Billy Foster's parents, attorney Michael Foster and real estate agent Janet Sterling, chartered a private jet and arrived with considerable resources. As wealthy Denver residents, they immediately leveraged political connections to demand additional search resources and government involvement. On the second day, the search area was dramatically expanded to cover multiple square miles of wilderness. Professional ground teams, aerial reconnaissance, thermal imaging equipment, and specialized mountain rescue units were deployed. The assumption was that Amanda and the children could be anywhere within a vast radius. FBI involvement began on the third day. Special Agent Robert Chen, a missing children specialist, classified the case as potential abduction. 4 people disappearing simultaneously was highly suspicious. Agent Chen's team thoroughly investigated Camp Wildwood operations. Amanda Rivers' background, employment history, and personal relationships were scrutinized. Investigation revealed Amanda's disturbing pattern. Previous camp jobs had ended with subtle complaints about overly attached behavior and boundary issues with children. College roommates described her obsessive doll collection, imaginary conversations, and reality dissociation episodes. Psychology professors remembered concerning term papers about child development control. Search efforts continued for weeks but found nothing. No clothing, equipment, or human traces were discovered. Amanda and the children seemed to have vanished from Earth. Media coverage escalated nationally. Photos were broadcast, tip lines established, reward money posted. Hundreds of tips came in, but none were credible. Families were devastated. Dr. Chen and Dr. Wong took leave and remained in Colorado. Carlos Martinez quit his construction job to search full-time. Michael Foster hired multiple private investigators. 2 weeks later, search operations scaled down as professional resources were withdrawn. Camp Wildwood permanently closed at summer's end due to liability concerns and loss of parent confidence. Amanda Rivers became a nationally wanted person, added to FBI's most wanted list. The theory was she had kidnapped the children and transported them to an unknown location, but motive remained unclear. As years passed, the case went progressively cold. New leads were exhausted. Investigation became dormant. Families continued with private investigators, but results were minimal. The fate of Tommy, Sarah, and Billy remained a complete mystery. The families suffered devastating long-term trauma. Tommy's parents eventually returned to California, but never recovered. Dr. Chen entered depression. His medical practice struggled. Dr. Wong continued therapy, experienced survivor guilt. Their marriage strained, and they divorced in 1992. Sarah's family remained in Phoenix, but life changed dramatically. Carlos Martinez developed a drinking problem and couldn't work consistently. Maria Santos had to work multiple jobs as the family entered financial hardship compounded by emotional trauma. Billy's parents seemingly coped best. Michael Foster maintained his law practice. Janet Sterling continued real estate work. But privately, they underwent extensive therapy and refused to have a second child. They converted Billy's room into a permanent shrine. In the 1990s, the case occasionally resurfaced in media through anniversary coverage, documentaries, and unsolved mystery shows. But no substantial new information emerged. The disappearance became established as Colorado's greatest unsolved mystery. In the 2000s, the Camp Wildwood property changed hands multiple times. Development was attempted, but the remote location had limited infrastructure. The property eventually returned to abandoned state as nature reclaimed it. The 2010s brought significant climate change impact to Colorado forests. Drought conditions, beetle infestation, and increased wildfire risk made the area where Amanda and the children had disappeared particularly vulnerable. Forest Service began regular monitoring of the region. In 2020, a massive wildfire season devastated Colorado. Cameron Peak Fire and East Troublesome Fire burned major acreage. The Camp Wildwood area was partially affected, clearing vegetation and exposing ground that hadn't been visible for decades. In spring 2024, a Forest Service damage assessment team surveyed the fire-affected area. They were documenting terrain exposed by the fire for reforestation planning. Technician Mark Rodriguez, an experienced forest specialist, noticed an unusual ground formation where vegetation patterns weren't normal and soil composition appeared different. A geological survey team returned with advanced equipment. Ground-penetrating radar detected unusual readings suggesting subsurface voids and possible artificial structures. The area was flagged for archaeological investigation. Dr. Elena Vasquez, a University of Colorado archaeology professor with crime scene experience, obtained an excavation permit. Her initial small-scale dig immediately revealed human-made objects, pieces of camping equipment, flashlight components, and fabric remnants consistent with 1980s manufacture dates. Dr. Vasquez immediately notified authorities that this wasn't an archaeological find, but a potential crime scene. Boulder County Sheriff's Office reopened the 40-year-old missing persons case. Detective Sarah Kim reviewed all available records and compared descriptions of Amanda Rivers and the children with discovered objects. Preliminary matches were identified, suggesting direct connection to the 1984 disappearances. FBI re-engagement was immediate and massive. Special Agent David Park, a cold case specialist with 20 years' experience, was assigned to lead the federal investigation. Technological advances in 40 years had created entirely new possibilities for evidence analysis and case resolution. The excavation was systematically expanded using proper forensic protocols. The ground area was divided into numbered grid sections, with each area carefully excavated, documented, and photographed. Evidence slowly began forming a disturbing picture of what had occurred in 1984. Personal belongings clearly belonging to the three children were recovered in various states of preservation. Tommy Chen's distinctive astronomy book, Sarah Martinez's handmade friendship bracelet from Phoenix school friends, Billy Foster's Denver Broncos baseball cap, items that parents immediately and tearfully identified as belonging to their missing children. The major breakthrough came with discovery of the concealed cave entrance. When wildfire had cleared decades of accumulated vegetation, a hidden opening in natural rock formation became visible for the first time since 1984. The entrance was small and had been artificially concealed using rocks, branches, and natural materials. There were obvious signs of deliberate human modification. Professional spelunkers were called to safely explore the extensive underground system. The natural limestone cave formation branched in multiple directions, creating a complex network of chambers and passages. Some areas remained accessible after 40 years, while others had experienced rock falls or been deliberately sealed. The most shocking discovery was made in a large cave chamber approximately 50 meters from the main entrance. Human skeletal remains were scattered throughout the space, along with preserved children's clothing, personal belongings, and camping equipment. Forensic anthropologist Dr. Michael Torres began the delicate identification process. Advanced forensic analysis revealed the most disturbing aspect of the case. The remains identified as Amanda Rivers weren't those of a victim. She was the perpetrator. Evidence clearly indicated Amanda had brought the children to the cave with deliberate intent. Survival preparation materials, food storage systems, and long-term habitation setup proved Amanda had planned an extended stay. The children's belongings were arranged in systematic, almost ritualistic patterns throughout the chamber. Tommy's astronomy book was placed on a rock shelf with his camp bracelet. Sarah's friendship bracelet was arranged near colorful stones. Billy's baseball cap was positioned on what appeared to be a makeshift altar of stacked rocks. The arrangement suggested deliberate placement, indicating Amanda's severely disturbed mental state. Dr. Torres's forensic analysis included bone examination, dental records comparison, and DNA testing. The results painted a clear picture of homicide rather than accidental death. Trauma patterns, defensive wounds, and positioning indicated the children had desperately resisted and tried to protect each other. The most chilling evidence emerged from handwritten journal pages preserved in the dry cave environment. Amanda's own words documented her mental state and the progression of events leading to the children's deaths. Journal entries showed clear psychological deterioration and disconnection from reality. Early entries from July 20th, 1984. Tommy, Sarah, and Billy are finally mine now. They understand the outside world only wants to hurt them. I am keeping them safe in our special place, where no one can reach them. July 22nd. The children are adjusting to our new life. They miss their families, but they don't understand yet that families only bring pain. As days progressed, entries became increasingly disturbed and violent. July 25th. Children crying too much during the night. They don't understand the protection I'm providing. Must be stronger with discipline. July 28th. Sarah tried to run back to the cave entrance. Had to stop her firmly. The other children were watching. Must maintain discipline. The final entries were most chilling. July 30th. The outside world is trying to find us. I can hear helicopters and search teams, but they want to take the children back to danger. I won't let them. The children belong with me now. August 2nd. Sarah and Billy tried to signal the helicopters. Had to teach them why this was wrong. The final entry, dated August 5th. The children have stopped fighting me. They understand now that this is their home forever. We will be together always. I have given them the ultimate protection. Evidence showed Amanda had systematically murdered all three children within days of this entry. Forensic timeline reconstruction revealed they had survived in the cave for approximately 3 weeks. Amanda had pre-positioned food and water supplies during previous scouting expeditions. The children initially maintained hope and expected rescue from the massive search operation they could hear above. Gradually, hope transformed into despair as Amanda's behavior became erratic and controlling. Tommy Chen had attempted to shield Sarah and Billy during the final attack. His remains showed defensive injuries consistent with trying to protect the younger children. Sarah Martinez had tried to run toward the cave entrance, but was pursued and killed before reaching safety. Billy Foster had attempted to hide in a small crevice, but was discovered and killed there. The discovery provided closure families had desperately sought for 40 years, though the information was devastating. The children's remains could finally receive proper burial. Tommy's parents returned to San Francisco for funeral preparation. "We always hoped Tommy was alive somewhere, Doctor," Wong said. "The truth is painful, but the torture of not knowing has ended." Sarah's family organized a community memorial service in Phoenix. Community support was overwhelming. Carlos Martinez committed to achieving sobriety. Maria Santos began healing with trauma counselors. Their message was, "Our daughter is remembered, not forgotten." Billy's parents held a private memorial in Denver. Michael Foster became obsessed with analyzing the case from a legal perspective, determined to ensure systemic changes would prevent similar tragedies. "Justice delayed is not justice denied," he maintained. The Amanda Rivers case presented challenges for the criminal justice system. Since the perpetrator was dead, traditional prosecution was impossible. However, civil litigation provided avenues for families to seek damages from Camp Wildwood's former insurance companies and supervising authorities who had failed to adequately screen and monitor staff. The Colorado Department of Health responded by dramatically strengthening summer camp regulations. Counselor background checks were enhanced to include psychological evaluation. Supervision protocols became more strict with mandatory buddy systems, and communication requirements became mandatory for all off-site activities. The case received massive national media attention. Documentary producers from major networks began developing programs about the case. True crime podcasters dedicated extensive series to analyzing the psychological aspects. Investigative journalists wrote comprehensive articles about child protection failures. Amanda Rivers became recognized as one of America's most disturbing examples of trusted adults exploiting positions to harm children. Educational institutions converted the case into comprehensive case studies. Psychology programs incorporated it into curricula about personality disorders and manipulation tactics. Law enforcement academies used it to teach about missing children investigations and psychological profiling. Child protection agencies adopted it as a powerful example of how predators infiltrate trusted institutions. A scholarship fund was established in Tommy Chen's memory in San Francisco, supporting children's education in science and mathematics. A community center was built in Phoenix in Sarah Martinez's name, providing after-school programs and family support services. A youth sports program was created in Denver in Billy Foster's memory, emphasizing character building and safety education. Amanda Rivers's former colleagues were traumatized by the revelation. Many counselors changed careers, unable to continue working with children. Survivor guilt and professional identity crisis became widespread among former staff members who questioned their ability to recognize dangerous individuals. The former Camp Wildwood property was donated to Colorado State Parks and designated as a memorial wilderness area. Public access was restricted, and a memorial plaque was installed in memory of Tommy Chen, Sarah Martinez, Billy Foster, Young Lives Lost, Never Forgotten. Technology played a critical role in case resolution. Ground-penetrating radar, advanced forensic techniques, and DNA analysis were tools unavailable in 1984. Modern science enabled cold case resolution impossible in previous decades. Colorado wilderness management procedures were modified based on lessons learned. Cave systems monitoring increased, awareness of underground activity heightened, and natural formations were assessed as potential hiding places. 40 years later, justice remained incomplete since Amanda Rivers was dead. However, truth revelation provided substantial closure for families. The memorial service united three families for the first time in decades, creating bonds of shared grief and collective healing. Tommy, Sarah, and Billy's lives were tragically cut short, but their memory endured as symbols of innocence and the need for vigilant child protection. The community's commitment to safety was strengthened, focused on preventing future predators from accessing children. The case made significant contributions to psychological research. Amanda Rivers became an important case study for mental health professionals studying personality disorders, child abuse, and criminal behavior intersection. In Colorado's Rocky Mountains, wind whispers through pine trees, carrying the eternal echo of children's laughter. Amanda Rivers' evil was exposed and buried with the truth, but the spirits of Tommy, Sarah, and Billy are finally free, protected forever in peaceful mountain meadows. The case's legacy is powerful. The necessity of vigilance in child protection, the importance of verifying trust before granting adult access to children, and the priority that child safety must take over all other considerations. Amanda Rivers was a monster disguised as a protector, but her evil ultimately made communities stronger and more protective. The truth finally surfaced after 4 decades of silence. Justice may have been delayed, but it was not denied. The 3 children who went on a nature hike and never came home had finally found peace. Their families could begin the healing journey that had been 40 years in the making. Memorial services, scholarship funds, and community programs established in their memory ensure that Tommy, Sarah, and Billy's legacy continues protecting other children. Camp Wildwood is gone forever, but its tragedy created something more powerful: a nationwide commitment to child protection that prevents future Amanda Rivers from harming children. The cave where they died has been sealed permanently, but their memory lives on in sunshine, laughter, and the protected innocence of children who grow up safer, because Tommy Chen, Sarah Martinez, and Billy Foster's story was finally told, their truth finally revealed, and their sacrifice finally found meaning in the protection of others.